The scalpel's glint caught the fluorescent lights as it sliced into my temple, and in that split second, I swear I saw Liam's face, smirking triumphant, before everything went black. I woke up gasping, monitors beeping like a goddamn alarm clock from hell, and the first words out of my cracked lips were, "That son of a bitch finally got me." But there he was, slumped in the chair by my bed, head in hands, whispering my name like a prayer he didn't believe in anymore. It was supposed to be just another brutal practice at Northwestern's lacrosse field, the kind where the wind off Lake Michigan whipped your face raw, and the coaches screamed until their veins popped. Freshman year, 2012, and I was Noah Riley, the scrappy kid from the south side of Chicago who clawed his way onto the team with nothing but grit and a chip on my shoulder the size of the bean. Lacrosse wasn't football, hell, it wasn't even soccer, but in the Midwest it was our religion, a brutal ballet of sticks and speed that separated the men from the boys. Or so we told ourselves. Liam Hargrove was the golden boy, 6'2", blonde hair that never moved in the wind, and a slapshot that could crack a goalie's helmet from midfield. He came from some old-money suburb in the North Shore, the kind of place where lawns were manicured like supermodels and dads drove Beamers to their hedge fund jobs. We hated each other from the jump, or at least I hated him. He probably didn't even register me as more than that aggressive little shit on attack. Started small. A check that lingered too long during drills, his stick jabbing my ribs like he was testing if I'd break. I'd fire back with a cross-check to his thigh, muttering under my breath about trust fund assholes who bought their way onto the roster. The team ate it up. Our rivalry was the spark that lit practices on fire. Coach called it healthy competition, but I saw the way Liam's eyes narrowed when I scored, like I'd stolen something personal from him. And yeah, maybe I had a thing for the goalie, Jake, with his easy smile and the way he'd high-five me after a good feed. Liam noticed. Everyone did. Whispers in the locker room. "Riley's got that vibe, you know?" I shoved it down, laced my cleats tighter, and channeled it into every sprint. By sophomore year, it was war. We'd clash on the field like gladiators, him bodying me off the ball, me tripping him just enough to draw a whistle. Off the field, it festered. He'd accidentally spill Gatorade on my gear. I'd spread rumors about him hooking up with the cheer captain's little sister. Petty shit that masked the real poison. Deep down, I knew it wasn't just about the game. It was the way he looked at me sometimes. In the showers, towel slung low, eyes lingering a beat too long before snapping away. Accusation? Curiosity? I couldn't tell, and it scared the hell out of me. Chicago wasn't exactly a rainbow parade back then. Not for a kid like me whose old man was a cop who'd disown him faster than you could say fag. The night it all boiled over was after a scrimmage against Michigan. We won, barely, on a goal I assisted. Stole the ball from Liam midstride and fed it to Jake like it was nothing. Locker room high-fives turned to backslaps. But Liam cornered me by the sinks, steam from the showers curling around us like smoke. "You think you're hot shit, Riley?" That was luck, not skill. His voice was low, breath hot against my ear. Close enough I could smell his cedar cologne mixed with sweat. I shoved him back, hearts pounding. "Back off, Hargrove. Not everyone's daddy bought their spot." He grabbed my jersey, yanked me in, and for one electric second, I thought, fuck, is this happening? Then his fist connected with my jaw, a crack that echoed off the tiles. I swung wild, caught his cheekbone, and suddenly it was a full-on brawl. Teammates pulled us apart, blood on the floor, coach benching us both for the next game. We avoided each other after that, ghosts in the same haunted house. But the tension? It hummed like a live wire. I'd catch him watching me during film sessions, jaw clenched, and I'd stare back until one of us looked away. It wasn't hate, not entirely. It was something sharper, hungrier, that neither of us had the balls to name. Junior year, everything shattered. Homecoming weekend. The air crisp with fallen leaves and the promise of playoffs. Our game against Notre Dame was a bloodbath. Tied at 8-8 in the fourth quarter, me dodging defenders like a madman, Liam anchoring midfield like a fortress. I saw the opening. Loose ball near the crease, his stick coming down too slow. I dove, scooped it, twisted for the shot, and that's when it happened. His check hit me square in the side, but it was the follow-through, his elbow glancing my temple as I spun. I remember the crack of bone on bone, the world tilting like a bad carnival ride. Then nothing. Blackness swallowed me whole, the roar of the crowd fading to a distant hum. They said it was a subdural hematoma, blood pooling in my skull from the impact. Coma for 3 weeks, they told me later. My mom prayed rosaries in the ICU waiting room. My dad paced like a caged bear, muttering about lawsuits and that goddamn Hargrove kid. The team visited in shifts, Jake with awkward hugs, Coach with pep talks about comebacks. But Liam? He was there every day, they said. Sat by my bed like a penitent, eyes hollow, whispering apologies to a vegetable. I didn't believe it when I woke up. Thought it was some fever dream cooked up by the morphine. The first face I saw clearly was his, blurred at the edges like a watercolor. Noah. His voice cracked, hand hovering like he was afraid I'd shatter. I tried to speak, but it came out a croak. He bolted for the nurse, but not before I saw the tear track down his cheek. Traitor, I wanted to rasp. Liar. But my body betrayed me, weak as a newborn's. Rehab was hell. Physical therapy in a sterile gym overlooking the Chicago River. Relearning how to grip a stick without my hands shaking. The doc said I'd play again, maybe, but the fire in my gut flickered low. Concussions steal more than balance. They rob you of that cocky edge, leave you second-guessing every shadow. And Liam, he wouldn't leave me alone. Showed up at sessions with protein shakes and bad jokes, lingering like a bad habit. Heard you hate kale smoothies. This one's apple. Figured you'd choke it down easier. I'd grunt, ignore him, but he'd just plop on the mat and spot my reps, his presence a constant itch. Why? I finally asked one gray afternoon, weights clanking around us like accusations. Rain pattered the windows, the city a smear of steel and glass. He paused, mid-squat, blue eyes locking on mine. Because I fucked up. That hit. It wasn't on purpose, but I was pissed. At you. At myself. He looked away, jaw working. You were always better than me, Noah. Faster, smarter on the field. And off it. Shit, you saw right through my bullshit. Made me feel exposed. I laughed, bitter and short. Exposed? You were the king, Hargrove. I was the peasant swinging for scraps. But his words landed like hooks, tugging at threads I'd buried deep. Exposed. Yeah, that was it, the way he'd glance in the locker room, the shove that felt more like a pull. My heart stuttered, old suspicions blooming into something dangerous. We didn't talk about it then. Not really. But the wall between us cracked, just a hair. He'd drive me home from PT, radio blasting Springsteen, born to run on loop, because it's the only thing that makes sense after a beatdown. We'd argue over routes through Wrigleyville traffic, him teasing my Cubs hat, me mocking his White Sox loyalty. It was easy, almost, like slipping into an old jersey that still fit, scars and all. By spring, I was back on the field, light drills, no contact. The team cheered like I'd risen from the dead. Which, hell, I had. Liam hung back, arms crossed, but his smile was real. That night, team barbecue at Coach's place in Evanston. Fireflies dancing over the lake like errant sparks. Beers flowed, stories got tall, and somewhere between the third round and the Esmores, we ended up on the dock, feet dangling in the chilly water. You ever think about it? He asked, voice soft over the lapping waves. The moon hung low, silvering the horizon. Us, back then. I swallowed, throat tight. Every damn day in that coma. Thought you were the villain in my head. He winced and I rushed on. But villains don't visit. Don't apologize with shitty smoothies. He turned, eyes searching mine in the dark. I hated you because you made me want things I couldn't have. Not then. Not with my family, the team. Everything screaming man up. His hand brushed mine, tentative, electric. I didn't pull away. Instead, I leaned in, our shoulders touching, the world narrowing to that point of contact. It wasn't a kiss, not yet. But it was a beginning. A truce. And in the quiet of that night, with the scent of charcoal and pine on the breeze, I let myself imagine what came next. Summer blurred into a haze of heat and healing. I graduated that May, Barely, with a business degree I never planned to use, and Liam convinced me to crash at his family's lake house up in Wisconsin for a month. Think of it as extended PT, he said, tossing me the keys to his beat-up Jeep. No sticks, no chicks. Just you, me, and enough beer to drown a frat party. I rolled my eyes but packed anyway, the south side skyline shrinking in the rear view as we crossed state lines. The house was everything I hated about him. Sprawling cedar decks, a dock with a pontoon boat that probably cost more than my mom's annual salary. Loons calling at dawn like some postcard come to life. But Liam made it bearable. Mornings, we'd kayak out to the middle of the lake, him paddling lazy circles while I practiced balance drills. The water so clear I could see base darting below. Afternoons were for bonfires and bullshit sessions, roasting marshmallows until they charred black, trading stories about high school fuck-ups and dreams we'd buried under shoulder pads. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the pines gold, he cracked open the truth. We were sprawled on Adirondack chairs, feet up on the railing, a cooler sweating between us. "My old man caught me once," he said out of nowhere, voice flat as the lake. "Sophomore year in high school. Kissing this guy from debate club behind the bleachers. Beat the shit out of me. Called it a phase." He took a long pull from his bottle, eyes fixed on the horizon. "That's why I came down so hard on you, Noah. You were out there, living it, flirting with Jake, owning your space. Made me feel like a coward." I stared at him, the pieces slotting into place like a puzzle I'd half-assembled in the dark. "Why didn't you say something? After the fight, the coma. Anything." He laughed, hollow. "And risk what? Getting benched? Outed? My folks are old-school Irish Catholic. Pray the gay away types. Dad still got that photo of me and the debate kid on his desk, like a warning label. His hand found mine then, fingers lacing tight. But you? Waking up in that hospital, seeing you fight back. It broke something in me. The good kind of broke." I squeezed back, pulse thundering. "I'm not Jake, Liam, or that debate kid. I'm the asshole who cross-checked you into next week." But my voice cracked, betraying the want coiling in my gut. He pulled me closer, forehead to forehead, breath mingling warm and tentative. Our lips met soft, exploratory, a question more than a claim. Salt and smoke and something sweeter, like redemption wrapped in flannel. We broke apart gasping, grins splitting our faces like we just won nationals. From there, it snowballed. Stolen kisses in the Jeep on the drive back to Chicago. His hand on my thigh as we navigated I-94. Late nights at my cramped Wrigleyville apartment. Takeout pizza turning cold while we talked until the sky lightened gray. He got a job at a sports marketing firm downtown, all suits and schmoozing, while I bounced between barista gigs and coaching youth lacrosse at a rec center on the west side. Giving back, or so I told myself. We were careful at first. No pedeas, no labels. Just friends to the world, with a secret that burned brighter than a Stanley Cup riot. Fall brought change. Liam's firm landed a big client, some energy drink pushing lacrosse sponsorships, and suddenly he was traveling, schmoozing in New York, LA, places where the air tasted like ambition. I'd wait up, phone glued to my hand, his texts lighting up the dark. "Miss your ugly mug. Flight lands at 6 a.m. Coffee?" I'd brew a pot strong as tar, and he'd stumble in, tie loose, collapsing into my lap like a weary soldier home from war. But cracks formed, spiderwebbing silent. He'd come back distant sometimes, eyes shadowed, brushing off questions with, "Just jet lag, babe." I'd nod, swallow the doubt because what right did I have to push? I was the Coma kid, the one still flinching at loud noises, popping Advil like candy for phantom headaches. Therapy helped, group sessions at a queer center in Boys Town where I'd spill about the rivalry, the hit, the kiss that rewrote everything. "Healing's not linear," the counselor said. "All sage nods and herbal tea. It's a loop-de-loop on the L train." Thanksgiving loomed like a storm front. Liam's folks insisted. Family tradition. The full spread in their Kenilworth manse, complete with aunts pinching cheeks and uncles debating Bears drafts over turkey. "Come as my roommate," he pleaded over burner phones, voice tight. "They don't suspect. It'll be fine." I wanted to say no, visions of debutante balls and waspy judgment flashing like bad acid. But his eyes, pleading in the dim light of my kitchen, caved. The drive north was a minefield. Holiday traffic clogged the Kennedy like clotting arteries, horns blaring in rhythm to my rising nausea. Liam gripped the wheel white-knuckled, humming off-key to Journey to fill the silence. They're not monsters, Noah, just set in their ways. Dad's mellowed since the heart scare last year. I nodded, staring at the John Hancock piercing the clouds, all chrome and unyielding. His mom greeted us at the door. Eleanor, pearls and a smile like pressed linen. Hugging Liam fierce, then me polite, like a distant cousin. Noah, Liam's told us so much. The lacrosse star, yes? Come in, dear, before you freeze. The house smelled of sage and cinnamon, walls lined with oil portraits of stern ancestors. Dinner was a production. Crystal goblets clinking, Grace droned long and pious. I sat across from his dad, Thomas, a bear of a man with a mustache like a broom bristle, dissecting the Lion's playbook between bites of yam. It went south after pie. Uncle Rory, 3 whiskeys deep, launched into a rant about the gays ruining football, citing some Fox News hack. Laughter rippled, tense but obligatory. Liam's fork scraped his plate, jaw locked. I forced a chuckle, heart hammering, but Thomas caught my eye. Something flickering there. Recognition? Accusation? Boys like you too, he boomed, clapping Liam's shoulder. Stick to the game. Keeps you out of trouble. The table froze, then erupted in guffaws. Liam's hand found mine under the cloth, squeezed desperate. I pulled away, excusing myself to the powder room, splashing water on a face that felt like it belonged to a stranger. Later, in the guest room, twin beds like we were kids again. Liam slipped in, door clicking soft. I'm sorry, he whispered, curling behind me, arms a warm anchor. They're trying. Dad's complicated. I twisted, kissing him fierce to drown the questions. We moved quiet, urgent, bodies mapping forgiveness in the dark. Afterward, tangled in sheets that smelled of lavender starch, he murmured, I love you. You know that? My chest cracked open, words I'd hoarded spilling out. Yeah, me too. But love's a fragile thing, hammered in the forge of secrets. I should have seen the storm brewing. Winter clamped down hard, snow blanketing Chicago like a shroud. Liam's trips stretched longer, 2 weeks in Denver, a month in Atlanta. Calls grew sporadic, texts clipped, swamped. Miss you. I'd pace my apartment, the radiator hissing like accusations, replaying Thanksgiving, the laugh in Uncle Rory's throat, Thomas's knowing glance. Was that why Liam pulled back? Protecting his facade? Or ashamed of mine? Then came the letter. Slipped under my door one February morning. Envelope crisp. No stamp. Inside, a single sheet, typed sterile. Noah, he's seeing someone. Saw them at the signature room last night. Tall guy, finance type. Thought you should know. A friend. A photo clipped below. Liam, mid-laugh, arm around a brunette in a sheath dress. The skyline glittering behind them like fool's gold. My stomach plummeted, the room spinning like that fateful hit on the field. I confronted him that night, photo trembling in my fist as he shrugged off his coat, cheeks flushed from the cold. What the fuck is this? My voice broke, raw as exposed wire. He froze, eyes widening, then crumpling like wet paper. Noah, it's not shit, it's a work thing. Client dinner. That's Emily, from PR. She's straight, married, for Christ's sake. Liar. The word hung heavy, venomous. You think I don't see it? The distance, the excuses. You're ashamed. Of me. Of us. Tears burned hot, but I held his gaze, daring him to deny it. He stepped closer, hands up like approaching a spooked horse. No. God, no. This is my dad. He cornered me after Turkey. Said he'd cut me off if I disappointed him. Pulled strings at the firm, too. I've been playing the game, Noah, to buy time. To figure out how to tell him without losing everything. Betrayal twisted deeper. A knife in the gut. So I'm the secret? The The side hustle until you cash in. I shoved the photo at his chest, storming for the door. He grabbed my arm. Spin me back, desperation wild in his eyes. Wait, please. I ended it. The charade. Quit the firm today. We're moving to Seattle, starting over. No more hiding. His voice cracked, forehead pressing to mine. I can't lose you. Not after everything. I wanted to believe him, wanted it so bad it ached. But doubt festered, a shadow on the scan. Prove it, I whispered, the words a gauntlet. He did, in the only way he knew. Drove us to his parents that midnight, snow whipping the windshield like furies. The Kenilworth house loomed dark, porch light a lone sentinel. Liam pounded the door until Thomas answered. Robe askew, face thunderous. What in God's name? I'm gay, Dad. Liam's voice cut the night, steady as steel. And Noah's my boyfriend. The one who almost died because of me. The one who saved me. Silence stretched, broken only by the wind's howl. Thomas's eyes flicked to me, then back, mustache quivering. Eleanor appeared behind him, hand to mouth. Inside, Thomas growled finally, door swinging wide. We stumbled in, dripping slush on Persian rugs, the air thick with unspoken reckonings. He poured scotch, 3 glasses, neat, and we sat in the study, portraits glaring down like judges. Liam spilled it all. The high school kiss, the Coma guilt, the love that bloomed from ashes. I added my piece, voice steady despite the quake inside. The rivalry, the hit, the healing. Thomas listened, face carved from granite, until Eleanor's soft sob broke the dam. Is it true? He asked Liam, voice rough. You love him. More than anything. A beat. Then, well shit. Thomas downed his drink, eyes glistening. Should have seen it. The way you two circled each other. Like bulls in heat. A chuckle, watery. I'm sorry, son. For the beatings, the pressure. Thought I was protecting you. He turned to me, hand extended. Noah, welcome to the madhouse. It wasn't absolution, not yet. But it was a bridge, rickety and real. We left at dawn, arms linked, the city waking to a fresh blanket of white. Spring thawed the ice, but not the undercurrents. Liam landed a gig with a startup in Portland, eco-friendly gear for extreme sports. Ironic for a guy who'd once body-checked me into oblivion. We packed my apartment into U-Haul boxes, shipping the essentials cross-country while we flew ahead. A red-eye that left us bleary-eyed and buzzing. Portland hit like a cool compress. Craft breweries in every shadow, food carts hawking bison burgers, the Willamette River snaking silver through hipster enclaves. Our place was a loft in the Pearl District, exposed brick, skylights that framed MT Hood like a promise, rent that pinched but felt like freedom. Life settled into rhythm. Mornings, I'd coach at a local club, kids with gap-toothed grins and unchecked enthusiasm reminding me why I stuck with the game. Liam hustled pitches at coffee-fueled meetups, coming home with war stories and takeout foe. Nights were ours, hikes in Forest Park, where Douglas firs whispered secrets, or curling on the couch with Netflix documentaries about queer icons. His head on my lap, fingers tracing lazy patterns on my knee. But ghosts lingered. My headaches flared under the relentless rain, pulling me back to that field, the crack of impact. Therapy went virtual, sessions with my Boys Town shrink unpacking the Coma echo, as she called it, the fear that one wrong hit could erase me again. Liam listened without pushing, but I caught him Googling neurologists late at night, worry etching lines around his eyes. His family, tentative olive branche. Eleanor sent care packages. Irish soda bread that arrived crumbled but heartfelt. Notes scrawled in loopy script. Miss you boys. Dad's grumbling less. Thomas called sporadically. Gruff check-ins disguised as stock tips. Bought apple at 20. Don't be a fool like me. Liam's voice softened on those calls. The boy who'd once craved approval blooming into a man claiming it on his terms. Summer scorched the northwest, wildfires smudging the horizon orange. We escaped to the Oregon coast, renting a cabin in Cannon Beach where Haystack Rock loomed like a sentinel from another world. Tides pulled dramatic, leaving tide pools teeming with anemones. fragile worlds in miniature. One evening, as the sun bled crimson into the Pacific, Liam dropped to one knee in the surf, ring glinting wet, a simple band of hammered silver, waves lapping our ankles. "Marry me?" he asked, grin crooked, eyes the blue of storm-tossed seas. "Not because of comas or betrayals, but because you're my best check, my cleanest goal, my home." Tears stung saltier than the spray. "Yes," I choked, pulling him up into a kiss that tasted of brine and forever. We laughed through it, tumbling in the foam like idiots, the ocean applauding with thunderous crashes. Word spread quiet. Text to my folks. Mom cried joyful. Dad grunted approval over a Cubs game. Emails to the team. Jake, now coaching in Boston, shot back a video toast. "About time, you two." Hargrove finally manned up. Even Thomas flew out, awkward in khakis, toasting with microbrews. To not screwing this up. A climax brews in calm, betrayal in trust. It hit in September, harvest moon fat over the hops fields. Liam's startup hit a snag. Investors pulling out, whispers of embezzlement from a rogue partner. He buried himself in damage control, nights blurring into dawn, takeout wrappers papering the loft like confetti from a funeral. I supported, brewed endless pots of Stumptown, but the distance crept back, colder than Chicago winds. Then the email. Anonymous, forwarded from an old Northwestern alias. "Ask your fiancé about the side gig in Atlanta." Emily wasn't just PR. Attached, screenshots, hotel receipts, charged to his expense account. Texts, flirty but veiled. "Miss our talks. Drinks soon." His replies, "Can't. Committed now." But the dates, overlapping our early days, when he'd sworn it was nothing. My world tilted, the loft's beams closing in. I waited, ring heavy on my finger, until he stumbled in at 2 a.m. "Ty Askew. Noah? You're up. Explain." I slid the printouts across the counter, voice ice. His face drained, crumpling into the chair like a deflated balloon. "It was. Before us. Really us. After you woke up, but before the lake house. Emily set me up, blind date with her brother, Mark. Finance bro, charming as hell. We met a few times, drinks mostly. But it fizzled. I told her it was over when things got real with you." Lies. The word slashed, drawing blood. Receipts say otherwise. And those texts? "Committed now?" Like I'm the consolation. He surged up, desperation raw. "No. I was buying time, Noah. Telling her I couldn't see him anymore because of you. Because I chose us." Tears tracked his cheeks, voice breaking. "I fucked up by not telling you. Hiding it to protect what we had. But I swear it's you. Always." Rage boiled, hot and blind. I tore off the ring, hurled it clattering across the floor. Protect? Or control? You think I'm some fragile coma case you can shield from your mess? Memories flooded, the locker room shove, the coma vigil, the dockside truce. All tainted now, threads unraveling. "Get out." He did, door clicking final as a guillotine. I collapsed, sobs racking until dawn. The city stirring indifferent below. Days blurred to weeks. He texted, "Please. Let me fix this." I ghosted, threw myself into coaching. Kids cheers a bomb on the bruise. Portland's rain mirrored my mood. Relentless. My shrink urged confrontation. Betrayal's a teacher, not a tombstone. Mom called from Chicago, voice steel wrapped in love. "That boy sat by your bed, Noah. Doesn't erase the hurt, but it counts." The climax crashed like a rogue wave. All-team scrimmage at the rec center. Alums invited, Northwestern crew flying in for homecoming vibes. I spotted him in the stands, jacket slung over the rail, eyes locked on me like a beacon. Post-game, as kids dispersed sticky with juice boxes, he approached, hands shoved deep in pockets. "Can we talk?" Voice rough, unshaven jaw shadowing hollow cheeks. I nodded, leading him to the empty field, sticks abandoned like fallen soldiers. Dusk fell purple, stadium lights humming awake. "You lied, Liam. Not just about him, about trusting me with the ugly parts." He nodded, eyes down. "Guilty." Thought I was sparing you pain, like Dad spared me, with fists and silence. But it was cowardice. Again. A beat. Then, I love you enough to let you go if that's what heals you. But I'll fight for us too. Therapy, transparency, whatever it takes. Wind stirred the grass, carrying echoes of that fateful hit. I saw us then. Rivals turned lovers, scarred but standing. It wasn't just the lie, I admitted, throat tight. It was the fear that you'd choose easy over us. Again. He stepped closer, not touching, giving space. Never. Mark was a ghost, lonely nights, you. You're the fire, Noah. The one that woke me up. Tears welled, unbidden. I closed the gap, forehead to his, breaths sinking ragged. Then prove it. No more secrets. We build this together, messy, real. His arms wrapped slow, tentative, then fierce. Deal. We kissed under the lights, salt and forgiveness. The field that birthed our hate now cradling our hope. Epilogue came gentle, humanistic as a Midwest sunset. We rescheduled the wedding, small, on that Cannon Beach dune, waves crashing witness. Thomas walked Liam down the sand, mustache twitching pride, Eleanor dabbing eyes with a lace hanky. My folks flanked me, Dad's arm heavy on my shoulder. Proud, kid, real proud. Vows exchanged simple. Through hits and heels, I choose you. Years on, we coached together, youth clinics in Portland's parks, sticks flying free. Headaches fade, scars silver. Liam's startup thrives, ethical as his love. We adopted a rescue mutt. Name him Blitz, who chases balls with reckless joy. And in quiet moments, by the fire with Blitz snoring at our feet, I trace his jaw, whisper thanks for the check that changed everything. Life's no fairy tale. No, it's a gritty American epic. Rivalries redeemed, betrayals bridged, love the ultimate comeback. We're proof. Even from comas and crosses you rise. Together,